Welcome back, adventurers, to Destination Morocco, the podcast that takes you on a journey through vibrant escapes, rich culture, and captivating stories from Morocco. I am your host, Azdean Al Mustakim, and today we have a very special guest with us, Cathy Nesbitt. I hope I'm saying your last name correct.
It's perfect.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. She traveled to Morocco 35 years ago, a trip that left an incredible mark on her life. But as you will soon hear, it almost did not happen. Kathy, welcome to the show. And would you please tell us a little bit about yourself and to the
Absolutely. Thank
audience?
you. Thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit of my story. So I'm Cathy Nesbitt. I'm located in Canada. And in 1989, I had the chance I was on a world trip. I was on a world tour of around Africa and Asia. And Morocco was my first introduction to Africa. That was my
Wow.
first foot in Africa was in Morocco. And it was magic. It was beautiful. It was. I think everybody should travel there.
Thank you. Thank you. We are so thrilled to have you. Now, 35 years ago, a different era of travel, Kathy. What sparked your interest in Morocco back then?
I had heard. We had friends who had also done a world tour, and they talked highly about Morocco, how unique it was, and the cultural differences. And we were just intrigued by the idea of, I mean, camels and the desert and everything was is just so different from what we were used to in Canada.
Absolutely. It certainly is. So, Kathy, you mentioned it almost didn't happen when in our communication back and forth to do the episode. Can you dive a little bit into that and tell us exactly what happened, especially in Tetouan? I know that the city was kind of a turning point, that experience that really changed a lot of things for you, Kathy.
Yeah, so we took the boat across from Spain, from Gibraltar, and went to Ceuta, which we
Yeah.
didn't know in the brochure. We thought we were in Morocco, but alas, no, we were still in Spain, just that
Yes.
little piece.
Yeah.
And it took us time. We had our backpacks, so it took time for us to get ready. And by that time, all the other passengers had left the area, and we didn't even know where the border was. We said, "Oh, there's no, we don't have to show our passport anywhere." And of course, there was a taxi waiting for us there, even though it was just around the corner. So we
Yes.
got in the taxi, went around the corner, and said, "Oh, wow, here we are." And to be honest, we were quite naive. We were just wanted to experience the world, and we were open. I guess we were kind of lucky that somebody was looking over us,
Yes.
and we were approached at the border. A gentleman came up and he said, "Welcome to Morocco," and started talking to my husband. And he said, took the passport. He said to me, "Go to the border and just get it stamped." Like they didn't want to talk to my husband. It was so easy. It was so free, and then he assigned us a guide. Mohammed was our guide, and
Oh
he was
wow.
just practicing his English. Was the story that we were told, and thank goodness for Mohammed. It
Yes.
was so beautiful. So we arrived, we got on the bus, or we actually were in a private car, and we went to Tetouan. And Mohammed took us around, and it was beautiful. His English was very good. I don't think he needed to practice at all.
Thank you.
So he helped us find a hotel, like a place to stay, and all the way along, right from the border, we were told that it was a special day. I mean, the story is really magical because we were so naive, and it was really a fascinating story. Now telling it, we seemed like we were ridiculous bumpkins that we just came out from a cabbage patch. That's what it seems like when I tell the story. But they said it's a special day. The Berbers have come down from the mountain. They're selling their carpets that they make by hand, and we were so excited. Wow! Imagine arriving on this one special day.
Okay, I know exactly what you're saying, and I know exactly what you're gonna say next few seconds,
Trust me.
because this is really really common. So, for me, what I wanted to explain a little bit to the audience is, there are two cities and few islands that are Moroccans, but they're still under control of Spain. Spanish, and Ceuta or Ceuta is one of them. So when you said you went to Tetouan with the local guide, it sounds to me like you're about to get scammed. Am I right, Kathy?
Well, it sort of, in a way, it kind of felt like that. You know, Mohammed was paid all the way along. He was paid at, you know, he got bakshish at the hotel, at the market.
Yes.
He was you know, the beautiful part about this, we did not really get scammed. You know, it might seem like a scam, but we still have the carpets that we bought that day.
Oh, that's amazing. So Muhammad was paid and he got his bakshish, which means tip for a lot of people who may not know. So, and take it from here,
So once we
please.
got installed in our hotel, he took us to this market, and that was an incredible experience. We were in there. Oh my gosh, I think we were in this market for 6 hours,
Oh,
like in the
wow.
carpet place, and the
Oh,
Moroccan hospitality, the tea, and we smoked cigarettes at the time, so we were smoking and drinking tea, and there was all kinds of little rooms set up, and we were so amazed. We said, wow, one day, look at all the work that they put out for one day. So I know it wasn't one day, folks. We know now it was not one day market. And it was incredible. Every room we went past, they were speaking a different language. We felt like, wow, the Moroccans can speak any language. They can sell you anything in any language. And it was so
yeah.
amazing. It was really an incredible experience. So there we were traveling for 13 months, and I think we spent $3,000 on those carpets. And we didn't
Oh,
even know
wow.
we were in the buying. That was the magical part. When we look back, it's like incredible because there we were having our tea. We thought we were just having an
Yes.
experience, and we were. And there was a young man who was so there was the salesperson who was talking to us in perfect English, and then he had a young man who was unfurling the carpets, and it was a
The
beautiful
carpets, yes,
experience.
for sure.
So they only spoke in Arabic, which was quite convenient.
For the, for them, yes, for sure.
We had no idea, right? We were like, isn't this fun? This is a great experience. Wait till we write our parents. and, and it really was a magical thing. And so they unfurled, I don't know, 40, 50 carpets, and all beautiful, really
Yeah.
magnificent carpets. And then we were asked, okay, we're going to hold up. Tell us which ones you like. Okay, that one, yes, no, yes, no. We ended up with 10 carpets anyway that we really liked.
Oh,
So
wow.
then they said,
Oh, wow.
okay, like, of course, we're not buying 10 carpets. And he knew that. Okay, so which one's okay? Then we ended up, anyway, we whittled it down to two. And you know, he was such a wonderful, in his whole approach was so
Yes.
practiced. It was so practiced, but we had no idea that we were in the game. We didn't
Of
know we were
course.
buying
Of course.
until we walked away, and we're like, oh my gosh, now we bought carpets for three thousand
What
dollars.
happened?
Like a big chunk of our money for the whole year was gone in one in one day.
Oh my God. Yes.
And the beautiful part, okay, so we ended up with our carpets, and when we came out, Muhammad was waiting for us.
Oh,
He
wow.
walked with
That's
us to
amazing.
the post office. We dropped off our carpets, and we thought, okay, goodbye to $3,000.
So you shipped it right
We
away?
shipped it, and it arrived. It was about 3 months, but we didn't care. We were
Okay.
away for a
Yeah,
year.
this is back in 1989. I'm sure there was no FedEx. I'm sure there's no, DHL or, it's everything you need to do. You have to go through the post office, and then the post office was not really cheap. So I know that for a fact. Yeah. So the shipping must have cost you a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was all fine. That was all part of it. So we came out, and Tetouan, back to Tetouan. It was very a border town. It was I don't know how it is now. I'm certain that there's more measures to attract people to come there.
Oh yeah. Oh,
But
100%.
it was
Yes.
very I would say rough. We saw people
Yes.
fighting, and like just different. We felt a little bit afraid, and
Oh wow.
haggling was new for us, and barter. We didn't understand this, that
The
yeah, we didn't
culture. Yeah.
understand this piece. And even when we decided the next day, oh my gosh, is this Morocco? This is harsh. And Mohammed, a few times, other people were coming up to sell us things or something. And he was like,
Yes.
again in Arabic, probably saying bugger off their mind. I don't know what he was
That
saying.
still happens to this day. It still does happen to this day,
It's okay. It's
unfortunately. Yeah.
part of it, right? It's just being
Yeah.
aware, and we were so grateful for him because he did he what we were
Yes.
like, oh, we were protected because we were walking around with Muhammad. Really, it
That's
was
right.
beautiful.
That's right. Yeah.
So the next morning he met us at the hotel, took us to the bus. It was that part was beautiful, and we could have at that moment said, let's skedaddle, let's get out of here. But we said maybe let's give Morocco a chance. Let's go to it. Like you can't tell a whole country from one
Of
place.
course.
And then we
Absolutely.
made our way
Absolutely.
to Shishawan.
Sheffield,
Oh my
yes.
gosh. And we stayed there an extra couple of days because it was such a magical experience. In the
Yes.
mountains, it was much slower paced. It was
Yes.
in the winter, and I don't know if it's winter there. Yeah, winter. So it was a little bit cooler. We had all of our clothes on. And what we really loved, to this day, we talk about the soup that is served in Morocco. It seems to be a
Mm.
bottomless pot of soup that gets added to every day. And it's just a
Yeah.
continuous, that's what it seemed. Um, and what we learned was that in the restaurants, if you don't have anywhere to live, you don't have any money, you can go into these restaurants and have a bowl of soup and a chunk of bread. And that was so
Yes.
moving because it's not like that
Absolutely.
everywhere.
Absolutely.
So we
Yes.
were,
Okay.
and the soup is delicious, by the way.
Okay. I'm just gonna add a few things to what you have said. Kathy, because we talk about it on the podcast time and again, many times. We mention it. The tour guides. It's they make or break your tour. They make or break your experience, and they make such a difference. So if you're lucky and have a really nice local guide with you, trust me, like you said, that they will protect you. They will, if you're walking by yourself through, the Medina, through the downtown or the old city, everybody's gonna haggle you. Everybody's gonna say, "Come here, come here. It's $2, $5. Look at this," and they be showing you stuff and trying to sell you stuff. But with a local guide, you don't get to experience that, which is really good. Then when you go, for example, I know you were not planning to buy, but that's how smooth the shop or the person was. It just felt, everything was falling into place, and then the end result, you got to buy some rugs, and he's happy, and everybody's happy. Tetouan has changed quite a bit, tremendously since then. And then when we look at Chefchaouen at that time was still unknown to most of the locals, even. So when you visit Chefchaouen, I mean, it's a hilly city. It's in the mountains, the Rif Mountains. Obviously, it's going to be cold during the winter, a little bit cool even the summertime. But then I talked about the culture in Chefchaouen. People of Chefchaouen are very laid back. They're not modern people, but they're very laid back, and the hospitality is just it's just incredible. So, and I'm glad you mentioned that. We're talking 35 years ago, and the things are almost still the same, literally. So, Tetouan, it's known for its Jewish heritage. There's a lot of Jewish places to visit. They call it the Pigeon City. That's the White Pigeon City. It's a beautiful city as well. It has changed quite a bit, and it's definitely worth the visit. So take us back, if you would please, Kathy, to the rest of your experience in Morocco, but specifically we'll pick up where we left off in Chefchaouen, please.
Yeah, so we just had a wonderful, peaceful time. It was such a contrast to our time in Tetouan. So we stayed there for a couple of days. It was beautiful, and from there we went down to Fez, and as you know, I was going to say, you of course you're you're talking about it. You're promoting it. It's so beautiful. Each place that we visited was different.
Of
Each
course,
place
yeah,
had a
100%.
different
Yeah.
feel.
Vibe,
Yes,
yep.
it was really, and for us again, a very new experience. Was really wonderful. I can't talk enough about the Moroccan hospitality. Yes, everyone's trying to
Thank you.
sell you something. It's business, it's life. Just trying to live a life.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
nothing against that. That's how it goes. That's
yeah,
right. But it was so beautiful, and so in Fez, the walled city and the souk, and just
yes,
the whole thing. And being Canadian, of course, we had our Canadian pins because we don't want to be mistaken. That's
Mistaken.
right.
Yeah.
Looking at us, we look the same. You know, when we have that little Canadian flag, I'm not sure how much clout it holds today, but 35 years ago, we were revered because Canada was held as a place. You know, we taught pilots how to fly in BC mountains for Nepali pilots. You know, we've done a lot of
Yeah.
work around the world as peacekeepers. And yeah, so
Absolutely.
I'm not sure today what our stance is around the world, but at that time.
They, you know, Canada in Morocco is it's well known, you know, for the same reasons. It's an amazing destination, beautiful, nice people, very generous as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so beautiful. So we spent a little bit of time in Fez, and then we went down to Marrakesh, where everyone wants to go.
Yes, yes,
And what you hear about, you know, and Marrakesh, wow, I have to say it's really quite something. We had the opportunity to meet up with a friend who was living in France and had friends in Morocco. He happened to be in Marrakesh at the same time. And believe it or not, at the Gemma El Fana market,
yes.
that's where we
The
saw him
square.
at the square. We saw him. He was across. It was like, oh my gosh, there's Kevin. Like, what? There's hundreds of people, and there he was. And so, because we had again somebody to help us, it was a wonderful experience. And oh, that square is really remarkable. It's
Yeah.
remarkable. In the day, there's the water cellars and
Yes,
you know, the things that you think about when you think of Morocco. And it was an incredible, you know, the snake charmers, and
yes.
has an incredible carnival feel even during the day. And then we had a chance to go to the Cafe Organa.
Yes, it's right there. It's yeah, Argana Cafe. Yes, yeah,
Are
it's
gonna and
yeah,
watch the transformation as
yes,
sunset was coming, where the square transforms, the water cellars disappear, the snake
yes,
charmers disappear, and in come the food vendors and the
absolutely.
other sellers. And it's got again a whole new vibe. You know, you get
Yes,
the jugglers and
yes.
the dancers, and it was just an incredible experience. Morocco is like nowhere else in the world.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Kathy. I just want to add something. You know, back in 18, I know exactly what I was in terms of age and school, but I know, you know, Argana, you know, it's a stable, if you would. It's a landmark in Marrakesh, and at that time, it is the best place to be. If you have not sat there, if you have not been there, then you really really need to. So, it seems to me like you hit really the good spots. So.
Yay!
And also one thing that nobody can really they cannot miss it, which is the smell, which is the fog, which is everything, you know, coming out of those food stalls, which is just amazing, amazing experience. So tell us a little bit more, please, Kathy.
Yeah, so that was my first introduction to couscous and Moroccan, the spices and
Yeah,
yes, all the aromas. It was remarkable. I mean, Marrakesh is definitely to be experienced, but each town, each little city is different. Little
yeah,
city, I mean, Casablanca, big city.
yes, yeah, absolutely,
And modern again.
yes.
So we left Marrakesh, so beautiful, and I speak French, so you know we were able to get by with English, French, a little bit of mime. So you know there seemed to be at that time plenty of English speakers and
Yes,
whoever you need to like whatever language you speak. I think there's somebody in Morocco that can. And
I totally agree. Now, just to give the listeners a little bit of perspective, back in 1989, Casablanca was and still is the biggest city in Morocco. But also, comparing Casablanca to Marrakesh at that time, Casablanca was way, way, way ahead. You know, from Marrakesh, we're talking minimum 15 years probably, because at that time Marrakesh was still small, a small city, not like today with all the expansions. Marrakesh, in terms of size, had you know quadrupled versus Casablanca. Now Marrakesh is more expanding than Casablanca. However, Casablanca is still the economic heart of Morocco, and then Marrakesh and Fas are you know in terms of tourism they are really really the hot spots. So You're taking me back in time. You're taking me back to my teenage years, Kathy. Just, I mean, I love it. It's incredible. I'm just thinking about so many things and so many memories and experiences, with my cousins, with my, schoolmates and stuff. So this is just, I appreciate you sharing this. In a way, I kind of needed it. So just
Thank
take
you.
me back in time. Thank you. What else did you experience in Morocco, please, Kathy?
The culture, the markets, the haggling. Um, Everybody had a story about their arrival. The
Yes,
travelers,
yes,
at the inns, and as you're tripping around, that's what you do is talk to the other travelers. Like, hey, what did you
absolutely.
experience? And everybody had an experience with. Most people bought carpets.
Yeah.
We can't resist. How can we?
Good salespeople.
It's like that'll be your retirement plan. Oh, okay. Or you can sell these for much more in your own country. So that was like it's like, oh, we can pay for our trip when we get back. But we still have them, and they are still, we bought two, and they're still displayed in our home, and they still look the same. They still look like they're brand new. I mean, they
Yeah.
they they really are incredible workmanship. The quality is very good. Um, I would say, what would you wanted me to share some? I mean, it's that spearmint tea. Like, come on
Mm.
in and have the
Yes.
Moroccan hospitality. Like, you can't say no because um, they're so compelling, first of all,
Yes.
and it's delicious.
Thank you.
Even though, coming from a place where you're skeptical of when somebody offers you something
Yes.
for free, like you're
It's a
like,
different
oh,
culture. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very different, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have experienced it at a time before technology,
Yes.
before cell
Yes.
phones and
Absolutely.
Google Translate and
Yes.
all of these things like Google Maps and things that can help you navigate, which are, I'm sure they're very helpful. But it's a very different experience when you need to speak to local people to get
Yes.
your questions answered, and depending on people
Yes.
to help you out. Like, so there's a lot of
Absolutely.
trust, but I think, we need to trust our gut. If it feels
Yes.
dangerous, maybe it is.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I totally agree because the technology, I mean, it has improved, quite a bit of things, but also looking back into it in terms of experience, you have to rely on, your driver, your local guide, your tour leader. So, it's all about trust.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
After Marrakesh, we traveled to Casablanca, and again, a little bit of culture shock. We were surprised how modern
Yes.
it was
Yeah. Yeah.
at
The
that time.
freeways. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, it makes me sound quite naive, and I was. And, now I was 27. If I was to do the trip again, I would do a lot more research on the places I was traveling so that I could benefit more from the history, like go and visit,
Definitely. Definitely.
different
Absolutely.
places. But we were just, a couple of young kids having a
Absolutely.
fun experience.
Yeah. Just to add a little bit to what you have said, Kathy, back then, 1989, the most attractive, Hassan II Mosque, which is, it attracts quite a bit of tourists, I would say definitely number one, in Casablanca. It was not built yet. So they started building it in, I believe, in 1987, and it was finished. They finished building it in 1993. So back then, it was just in the process of building it. But even for me, going from Marrakesh to Casablanca, I remember my first time visiting Casablanca, and it felt like I was in a different country, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Because Casablanca is so advanced. Marrakesh, at that time, we have pavement, paved roads and many things, but Casablanca was just in a different level, if you would. So, it's incredible. Everything you're sharing is just it's right on point. It's just extremely accurate, and you remember it. That's just beyond incredible.
Again, it was our first foray into African countries, so we did have quite a bit of culture shock at the beginning, and then you kind of ease into it when
Yeah,
once you're there for a little while, you get acclimatized to how things work and how it goes, and Yeah, it was. We thought the people were very friendly, and
Thank you.
yeah, we other than in Tetouan, although we didn't really feel in danger, it just yeah, it's hard to explain how we felt when we were in Tetouan. It just was so
It's
foreign to us.
uncomfortable.
It
Yeah.
was it was uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but Mohammed saved us.
Yes. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear a lot of the things that comparing today versus back then. A lot of them are still the same in terms of consistency, which is really good. Especially the hospitality, especially the tea culture that we have in Morocco. And also, I agree with you 100%. One thing that also did not change, yeah, you are in Morocco, but every city has its own culture. Every city has its own vibe. Fes is the oldest. Fes, it holds that tradition that it's going back in time. Then Chefchaouen is different. Marrakesh, it's happening, it's busy, and so forth. Then Casablanca, it's very modern. With the nightlife, with the offices and buildings and all that stuff. So it's incredible. So it's like you visit in a country, but within that country, there's few other countries.
Exactly. That's right. Little mini countries within. That's well put. It
Thank you.
was really remarkable, and I would return. I have not been back to Morocco, but it is one of the places that I would definitely return.
It's not the first time that I hear that because a lot of people they say, "Well, I've been to 30 countries, 50 countries, but Morocco is that one place that I definitely want to go back to." So I'm glad to hear that as well. So, Kathy, if people, I know people are going to listen to your story, which is incredible. It's a wonderful, wonderful experience. How would you advise them to get ready for their trip to Morocco, or what would you recommend for them when they are planning to visit Morocco?
I would say to do some research on some of the cities that you'd like to go to, map out your route of what you're looking to do. My husband and I were just traveling by bus, and we didn't, other than Mohammed when we first arrived, we didn't have a guide. Would probably be a good idea to really maximize your time there. So
Absolutely.
because when you have a guide, it really does help you to see places that maybe every tourist doesn't get to see.
I totally agree. Yeah. And also, you save a lot of time because you have, 1 week or so in Morocco. You want to maximize your time. Time is an investment as well. So, and with the local guides, you'll get to see places, like you said, that a lot of tourists are not, they won't see or not aware of. So,
People should go. That's it.
I totally agree.
Pack your bag and plan your trip to Morocco.
Thank you so much. Kathy, it's been a pleasure. I'm very grateful. This has been a lot of fun. We laughed so hard, even before we start recording. So this is really, really incredible. And I'm very grateful for you.
I would love to share that there was a lot of laughter. I'm a laughter yoga teacher, and I would love to invite you and your listeners to my laughter yoga club. It's free on Tuesdays. Tuesday morning, it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And it's on Zoom, 30 minutes of super fun self care. And my website is cathysclub.com. Cathy with a C.
Perfect. Perfect.
And my camera's not working, but I collected bills from different countries, and I have a 10 dirham note here that I would have loved to show you, but my camera's not working.
It's all right. Oh, this has been just beyond incredible. I mean, I really, really, really appreciate it, Kathy. Thank you so much to the audience, to the listeners. We're very grateful for you. Really, really appreciate it. Until next time, keep exploring Morocco.
Oh, thank you for the trip down memory lane.
Oh my
I really
God.
appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. You did the same thing to me.